Right, let's have a look then. So, you were born in Headingley, is that right?
Yes, number 4 St Michael's Lane,
Right.
opposite the cricket ground.
Right. And your mum?
She was born in Doncaster and moved to Leeds when she was 9 months old. She was,
Oh, she's quite young then.
yes, she was christened at the parish church in Doncaster. And they moved, and my grandpa on my mother's side was a builder and, I don't know, cabinet maker.
Oh, right. So,
My grandma, my mother's mother, she was a sister at Guy's Hospital in London,
right.
was engaged to a doctor who went abroad and came back and died of a tropical disease. How she met her grandpa, I don't know.
So, Grandpa's mother was called Emily Britt, is that right?
That was it, yeah. No, grandma, your grandma's mother.
Yeah, Grandma's mother.
Yes, grandma, not your grandpa.
And she married George Noel,
That's right, yes.
Nowell.
Yes, Noel.
No.
And they seem to originate from Lincolnshire, so where's Saxelby? In Lincolnshire,
Saxelby, yeah.
they had a big, there was and his brother, he was in the Marines and stationed at Portsmouth at the barracks there. And he had 3 daughters. That's his brother. Do you want to know that?
Anything, just keep
Yes, 3
talking.
brothers. Nell, well, Eleanor, Laura and Dorothy.
They're sisters, aren't they?
They're 3 sisters,
You
yes.
said 3 brothers.
Oh, sorry. 3 sisters.
I thought they were in for sex
one brother
changes.
for about 3 daughters.
Oh,
And they all died with TB.
oh gosh.
And my grandpa, that was your mother's, your nana's father, he died with galloping consumption. He
TB.
caught a cold at your grandma's funeral, and 9 months after he died of galloping consumption. She died of breast cancer, your grandma,
Oh, right.
and she was 54 or 52, I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, it's got here your first memory. You put some Zambuck on some...
Yes, on a green settee, they had a green plush settee,
Who did?
your nana.
Oh, right.
And she went in the, well, they called it the front room then. Went in and I daubed all this Zambuck on it. I can remember. I got a smack. And then another thing, I don't actually remember it, but your nana was looking everywhere for me, and a lady came up Woodhouse Lane. No, we would have been Woodhouse Lane then. And she said to her, "Have you seen a little girl?" So she said, "Well, yes, I have, just in the cemetery with a big sheepdog." She said, "I went to talk to her, but she said the dog wouldn't let me anywhere near her. And she's got a lot of ties around her neck, and she was sitting near a grave, and it was my grandma's grave, and I'd gone down there. And I got all my dad's ties around my neck with the dog.
Mm-hmm.
And that was anybody going near me, it used to hold on to my frock.
Was it your dog?
It was my mother and dad's dog, yeah. I forget the name of it now. Bess, I think. And this lady had gone to ask me what I was doing or who I was. and the dog wouldn't let her get near me. So of course my mother flew down to I think it was the top of Woodhouse Lane, and there I was near the grave, looking at all the flowers.
So then you went to Leicester.
Yes.
What made you go to Leicester then?
Grandpa, the boss of Conyers, H. Conyers Leather Factors, he's got a branch in Leicester, and they made your grandpa manager of it, old Mr. Conyers. So we came to Leicester. And your grandpa rented a house in Green. What is it? Oh, what's that road in Claren Park? Greenhill Road, Greenhill.
What's Mill Lane then?
Eh?
It said he had a flat in Mill Lane opposite Victoria Park.
Oh yes, just a few weeks, and then he rented this house in Greenhill Road, number 4. And we went to live there. We stayed at this flat in Mill Lane, and the Queen Mary and King George came to Leicester, and they sat me on this wall to watch them go by up the London Road there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we lived in Greenhill Road, and he had this house built then in Elms Road, and we moved from there to Elms Road, and we lived there until old Mr. Conyers died, and the son took over, and he closed the business in Leicester, and therefore your grandpa was out of work. And through playing cards with some friends, and he stood bomb for this Mr. Ems, and he went out the country and left Owen. Oh, what the hell was his name? He belonged to the Times. Oh, what's his name? He's come to me. Peter was the son. Anyway, this chap foreclosed on this debt, which was not much really. But your grandpa had stood bond for him, so he had to declare himself bankrupt. So the house had to go, and we came to live there.
Oh.
And that was in 1926.
What were Grandad's brothers called then?
James.
It says something about Wheatwood Lane, a blacksmith.
They had the big house at the corner of. There was the pub, the Three Horseshoes, and the big house next to it. Three Horseshoes was on the corner like that, and then the next house to it was the blacksmith's, which would have been my grandpa's, your dad's business, your grandpa's father's business. Because when he died, that went to James, the eldest son.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big house next to the Three Horseshoes on the corner in Wheatwood Lane. I think it was 1 Wheatwood Lane.
So what sort of work did it do then?
It was blacksmiths.
Yeah, I know, but what?
Well,
Horseshoeing.
horseshoeing and all, making iron work and all that sort of thing.
Oh.
Very good business. He used to shoe all the horses for, I suppose it'd be Wheatwood Hall or something, the Wheatwood Lane.
Was the cemetery called Lawnswood? Because that's what you called the house.
Yes, that's what you
That was a bit fateful, wasn't it? Calling
it
your
was
house
really, but that was, that's where my grandparents, Whitwells, are buried in London.
Oh, that's why then.
Yeah. And they're both buried in there. Who would have been my grandparents. No, I never knew.
Right. It's got here something, Duggan's Builder.
Dudgeons. The builder built the house, and he lived off South Mountain Road, I think, was he? And his building, his house and his yards.
Uh-huh. So Uncle Ken was born in that house, was he?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Auntie Polly came up and stayed there while he was born.
Mm. So you were what then?
7.
You were 7. Oh,
There was 7 years between us, yeah.
that's quite a lot, isn't it?
It was really.
So did you get spoiled then all that time on your own?
Well, I didn't like the idea of having a brother. And I can remember taking him in the pram to meet my dad coming home at lunchtime. And I can remember this as plain as anything. I can see it now going over Elms Road there up that bit. And because he hadn't got a car, he didn't have cars with them. And I said to him, well, can't you send him back? Because my mother does from when she gets stuff from, it was Marsh. Oh, it was a big firm.
Marshall and Snowborough.
That's right. I said when my mummy, she has a frock from Marshall and Snowborough and she doesn't like it, she sends it back. I wouldn't know if my dad couldn't send him back. I can see me saying that's better than anything. Then another time took you, Ken out and Bushy-Nana always used to watch me. And she watched me coming, it was not a big slope, perhaps as much as that from that corner. And she watched me leave go of the pram and let it go on its own. She ran out of the house and just managed to get hold of the pram British lamppost. I can remember doing that as well. Oh dear.
So when you were there then, you went to school then
At St Dorothy's Convent.
on London Road?
Yes.
Right. So what happened there then?
Well then when you Grandpa went
Did you
back-
like it then?
Oh yes, I liked it. Yeah. I was a bit of a rebel, but I used to get sent to the chapel to confess my sins. And that, but oh yes, I was all right there. I was turned 12 when I left there, so I was there for.
So did you make any friends then?
Yes, there was Mary Wilson and the smallest sisters and one of the big family at Oakby that I used to go to. And, oh yes, I had quite a few. And there was Stephanie Lee. She was not older than me, and when she found out that, later I was married then, and she found out that I'd been a pupil at St Dorothy's at the same time as her, and she came down to see me, and that was old Monkey Lee that owned the 2 steeples at Oakby.
Oh.
Was her father, and then there was the girl that her parents owned the pub. What's the name of the one that's made into a book, isn't it?
Oh, the Bell?
Bell. They owned the Bell. Forget it, And she was a pupil there. Because I was married then, and she was a young pupil there, and she happened to find my name in the register, and because they knew my mother and dad, her mother and father did, and she told the nuns that, and they asked her to get in touch with me. Would I go to some of the school runs and that? Which I don't think I did because I think I was too busy. But, I think I went to one, but that was that.
They said there was an eclipse of the sun while you were there.
Oh yes, we all went out. We went round the garden. Of course, I used to try to do everything the Catholics did, you see, but and I found out and said that I wasn't a Catholic and I shouldn't be doing it. And so I used to go around the garden with all the other Catholics and that with the veil on. And when the eclipse of the sun, and we all were given a piece of smoked glass to look through at it. And also the post office strike was the same time as that. Well, not the post office, when everybody went on strike. That was when Ramsay MacDonald he was only in for a year, I think, or not that, because he got chucked out of the government. That was the Labour government again, and absolutely destroyed everything, and all the whole country's banks and everything. Nobody could get any money out of the banks or the post office or anything. Went on strike. That was the same year, and I think that was 1926. That general strike and the eclipse as well. But, oh no. I always remember Mother Pacheco, her name was. She was Spanish. She was a very nice nun, well, and that, but I used to go, well, we all did, not just me, Mother Ichiku. Of course she heard us. Because I was picked on, and it was me that got sent to the chapel to confess my sins, and I got a down me, because we used to have navy blue knickers on, with the elastic in the bottom. And in there I got a school friend magazine. And of course I was reading in the magazine, and oh dear, I got a tap on the shoulder. Oh, I had more sense to repent then. Dear me. Gosh. So I don't know, and then I had to leave there, you see, when we were going to live here, and my mother took me up to the school up there, and Mr. Bolter was the headmaster, and she explained the circumstances and that, and he said, well, don't you worry, he said, I'll keep Dorothy in my room with me and give her special lessons, and he did. And I used to go around and collect all the registers in the morning. But then when he left, I had to go into the mainstream then. And at the time, I could speak French quite well. And I had a little French class of my own in his rooms, and that with some of the girls. There used to be Ruth Simpson and Bella somebody. There was about 5 girls, and I used to teach what bit of French I knew. And then I always remember one day, because there was boys there as well, you see, and one day, that was when Mr. Kind was there, and he got to do something, and he put me in charge of the class, and of course our Ken was in the class. Of course he was played up because it was me, and I gave him the cane. I said, I'll teach you to play. Of course, when Mr. Kind came back, I told him what to do. And he said, you did right, he said. I'll give him another one. I think he gave him one.
Blimey, that was a bit cruel.
Well, it was only a rule that we... Anyway, oh dear. That was that.
So did Uncle Ken get on all right there?
Oh, he was always playing true, and Uncle Ken was, yes. We'd have folks come and knock on the door. Has your Ken gone to school, Mrs. Woodwell, this morning? She said, oh, yes, of course he's gone to school. She said, well, I saw him driving a herd of cows down this morning to the cattle market. He'd played true, and he'd gone with the farmers from Wigson, and behind a herd of cows. Oh, he was, I don't know. Oh, he got into trouble for things he never did, actually, Ken did. I mean, I know one Saturday morning, my mother had gone to Manchester and taken him with her because my cousin, her cousin Auntie Dorothy, I always called her Auntie Dorothy, she wasn't well, and so my mother had gone up for a few days. And this man came to the front door, knocked on the front door, and my dad opened it. I was standing behind him in the passage sort of thing. He said, I want you to give your son a good hiding. So my dad says, yes, why? He's stolen a shilling off my son this morning. He says, I sent him to the papers with a shilling, and he said, your son's taken it off him. I said, oh, he said, he did well. So he said, well, he said, no use you joking about it. He said, he wants a damn good iron. He says, if he starts stealing now, he says, what's he going to do when he's a bit older? So my dad says, well, I don't know how he did it, because he's been in Manchester since yesterday. So he says, how he stole off your son. So the son was with him. He gave him a good iron on toast. Oh, dear me. All several things that he got into trouble for that he never did.
Well, he must have been naughty too.
Oh, he was. He was a ringleader of lots of things, but I mean, lots of the things he didn't do, but got blamed for me. Oh, various things. I mean, I would remember, of course, it was Reg Gill who'd done it. You see, and they tied a lump of string from their fence to our fence, and of course, several folks tripped over it. Because it well, Kenneth got blamed, not Reg Gill. And then they used to tie folks' letterboxes and hide behind the fences and that and rattle, and folks used to come to the door. Oh dear. And then Auntie Florence was next door. And then one day got this some rice, because I have to look at it after him on Saturday morning because my mother went downtown. And it's Saturday morning, I went in the kitchen because I had to scrub the kitchen floor and do while my mother had gone out. And I thought, oh, Kent's quiet in there. And because I went in, because I'd be 13 and 14, you see. And he was flicking off a spoon some rice pudding on her back door. And then another time, oh, it was bitter cold, Elizabeth, and I just got, well, I hadn't got a coat on or anything, and I went outside to empty my bucket, and he locked me out. Oh, and 5 minutes before my mother came home, he undid the door. Oh, because I was blue with cold. Oh, he got into trouble then. There's another time he was down the garden and, oh, dear me. I went with Withington for a minute and there was a piece of corrugated iron down the garden and he fell like that. But you know the shape of corrugate. And that's how it went into his leg. Oh, see, we got the ambulance and I went with him. And then my mother came down afterwards. Oh, dear me. Oh, God.
Mm-hmm.
Then I used to, when he was about 15, well, he'd be 14 or 15. And I used to go dancing and it was on the London Road, the Academy of Dancing. I forget the girl's name now. They're around there. But I used to go and I used to take him with me. And after that, we were as close as anything. I mean, we never fell out or anything after that. Oh, dear. So that's that. And
So did he leave school then? What did he do when he left school?
Oh, he went to work for the Midland Red Bus Company as a mechanic, to train as a mechanic. Oh, don't know. First of all, did he go there first? Or then he went to, what was his name? In High Cross Street. He has a small shop and he repaired sewing machines. I think he went there first. And he took such a strong liking to him, and that was it, and he left there and he went to the Midland Red and then of course he was there until he went in the Air Force then, when war was declared. I mean, that was 11 o'clock in the morning, he was missing. And my mother came down here. He said, I can't say, because I was married, you see, and he said, I can't. I said, no, I haven't seen him. She said, well, I don't know where he is. She says, he shot out the house, and she said, I thought he'd come down to you. I said, no, he's not been here. But anyway, what he'd done was gone down to join up.
Oh, blimey.
And, of course, they sent him back with Flynn, because he was only 18, you see. And they said, you come when you're 19. They were taking the, as their age group. But he still went before he was then. And then it was a horrible night, and your nana came dashing down, and Grandpa, both of them. Get your coat on quick, Dorothy. And she shouted to Auntie Florrie, can you come and talk with Dorothy? Because I've got John, you see. Can you come and talk with Dorothy, with John? Kenneth is passing through Leicester Station on his way. He was going abroad. And it was thick fog, Elizabeth. And anyway, I got in the car with your Nana and Grandpa, and we got down there the best we could. And the train was just going out of the station as we got. So we didn't see him. And that was that, whether we went abroad then. He was on the I think it was HMS Georgia. And the boat in front of him that was going out as well, that was bombed. And nearly all of them were lost on that, the young lads. But his ship was all right, and they got to wherever they were going. And that was it. And you went all through the desert. I was reading somewhere about the desert rats, and he was through all that with the Air Force. And then he got shut into Brook for the whole 9 months. And we didn't know whether... we just kept getting... No, your nana did, I didn't. A letter saying that... Whitwell. And what was his rank? He had 3 ranks. He got to Sergeant Major once, and then got demobbed from that for doing something. Then he was Sergeant, and he got lost his stripes for that. LAC, either 1 or 2 he finished up. Lance Corporal, something. And these letters kept coming to your nana. Lance Corporal Whitwell, missing. Not presumed dead. And that's all she knew. And then when the siege of Tobruk was over, they let all the married ones come home from Egypt and that, you see. And Tubby, I don't know what the name is now, he was a Londoner and he was married, and of course he was Ken's friend there. And of course as soon as he got home, he went to his wife, of course. And then he came straight to see your nana. And the first thing your nana said to him, what's the matter with Kenneth's legs? And where's the hospital? Was it underground? So he says, well, how do you know that? Nobody knew anything about that. So she says, well, I did. So he says, well, who told you? She says, nobody told me. She says, I just knew. And he was shot in all his legs, and the hospital was on the ground, and that's where they'd taken him, into Brook. And old Tubby was most amazed, because you know, knew all that. And nobody told her. I mean, it was just, I don't know, she was that bit psychic.
Was he Tubby?
Hmm?
Was he Tubby?
He was Tubby, yes. Oh yes, he was Tubby. He was similar to, who can I describe that name? No, I suppose, Christopher, you call him Tubby, well, he was same, yeah. Oh yeah. And then of course the next thing we heard from Ken, he was in Alexandria, and then he came home then, and was at not Sizewell, near Nottingham. Oh, and Mac, somebody, I forget his name now. But I came home, I'd been downtown one Saturday afternoon, or Saturday. Came home, and there was him in the kitchen, this other Air Force lad, plucking chickens. And they'd got all these chickens from this farm. I think there'd be about half a dozen or more. I said, well, what the dickens do you think you're going to do? He said, well, we want you to sell them for us. I said, well, how do you think I'm going to? Because chickens in those days, I mean, it was a luxury to. Anyway, Mr. Morris across there, he bought 2 of them. I think there was about 6 for it. Oh, something like that. But, my kitchen was full of feathers. Oh, God. Then another time I came home, and this room, covered in newspapers, he got all the engine of this thing of Le Mans all in pieces. It was and everything. Oh. I said, what on earth are you doing? He said, well, we've had to take the car to pieces. It's not right. Anyway, Mrs. Gill let him have the garage after a bit, and I think he put his big ends back in over there. Oh, dear. Gosh. Oh, dear me.
Right, I've just got to knit back one.
So,
Shall I leave it on?
yeah, oh, well, don't leave it on for me. I won't be talking, but I'll have my music on, so you don't want to waste it on me.
Well, I don't think it matters. I don't even know if it's working. I'll have to... Well, I think what I'll do...
You don't.
Take it home, get Daniel to test it out.
Yeah. Better. And my dad come on the street.
Just a minute. Oh, I don't think we've got the last lot.
Oh, I can't go for it all again.
Just tell me about Kitty. When she just say it again.
Well, we went to Leeds and they fetched her out of this home, and when they came up Green Hill Road there, and I was standing at the gate kind of waiting for them, because I'd be 4.5, and she got an old jumper on and a Hessian apron round her waist, and my mother came out the front door and she said to me, Dad, what on earth have you brought her like this for? He said, I hadn't time to buy a coat or anything for her. He says, we'd have missed the train. He says, that's the only way I could bring her home. And they did everything for her. Elizabeth, she joined the Carisbrook Tennis Club. And everything she could. And then, as I say, when their bad patch was on, she deserted them.
Well, I know, but I suppose she was young, wasn't she?
Well, she was 15 when my dad brought her, so... Well, she'd be in her 20s, I think, something like that.
Well, you'd have done the same, wouldn't you?
I suppose I would, really. Yes, I suppose so. And when she came back to England to live then for a bit, she had lodgings on Milligan Road. But she used to come up here and see me, and she always used to write to me.
Did she get married?
No, she never married. Whether she had any love affairs, I don't know, but she never. When she went back to South Africa, she went lived with a couple for a little while, and they opened like a nursing home sort of thing, and she lived there. Fairfield it was called, and she lived there as far as I know. She was there when she died. She always used to write Christmas and birthdays. We always kept in touch. Her birthday was June the 21st, and she was 12 years older than me.
Right.
And then when one year I didn't get a Christmas card, and then I didn't get a birthday card, so I wrote to the home, and I had a letter back saying, oh, from her niece. Now I lost that letter. I don't know where I put it, because I would have written back to her niece, sort of, it's Lottie's daughter, and that her Auntie Kitty had been and spent Christmas with her, I think Kitty was in East London, and they lived in Johannesburg, and she said, and she'd gone back to the home and passed peacefully away in her sleep.
Oh.
And with her, had told her all about her Yorkshire upbringing. That well, Kitty wasn't a Yorkshireman. she came from, I think, Hartlepool, where they came from.
Oh.
And I would have written to this niece and told her that she got all Kitties growing up wrong. And that was that. But I don't know what happened to Lottie, because Lottie was, I don't know if Kitty was the oldest or Lottie was the oldest, but there was Lottie, Kitty and Billy. And Billy, as I say, but when he got over his teenage and that, he did very well for himself.
What did he do then?
He joined the army and became lieutenant in the army.
Oh.
And he married a French girl, Annette. But she didn't want anything to do with his English, really. My mother and Dad went to see them once, and my mother said she was very aloof and that, you know. She said you could tell we weren't welcome there, and they weren't. And then he left. When he came out of the army, he went something to do with the Navy. And he had a marvellous job with the Navy. And I don't know what it was, but this magnificent job. But every time he came to see Mother and Dad, he used to take me out. I was always going to marry him. Because he's a lot older than me. But he was very happy. No, I never had a photograph of him, but he was handsome looking, very tall. And of course, he used to be in his uniform when he used to come. He always used to take me out to the pictures, And he was in the Navy, you know. He died because they wrote and told Mother and Dad that he'd passed away, so.
Oh,
I think he had 2 daughters, I'm not sure. But
where did he live then?
At Bath.
Oh, in Bath? Oh, lovely.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice. Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what happened to them. Because as I say, I never met her or anything. And you know, and Grandpa went and stayed with them. And when Nana came back, she said, we knew we weren't welcome at all. She was very put up with them sort of thing, you know. Because Billy was very nice too. He thought a lot of me dad and my mother. But so that's that side of it. And then there's me. Oh, there's a little Uncle Jim, because I had the twins. And I'm trying to think of the night what the other one was called.
So they were Nana was an only child then?
Anna didn't have any family at all. Never, no, she was the only one. Uncle Arthur. I don't know whether you remember Uncle Arthur. Uncle Arthur, my Nana and Grandpa, they brought Uncle Arthur up, although he was in the army all his life. For 25 years he was in the army. But they brought him up sort of thing, because Auntie, I forget her name, no. She had, Uncle Arthur was illegitimate.
Oh.
And so my Nana and Grandpa brought him up from a little boy, and then he joined the army when he was 15. Served all through the First World War. And during the Second War, he was in the Leicester Tigers, so therefore he had to kind of enroll sort of thing. And he went in Norwich there to the aerodrome there, and it was an Air Force, and he was made a bomber in the bomber machine. He was quite a big man, really, and he always said he had a job to fit in the little seat at the back. That's where he was. And he was on this airfield, and big farm next door, and they had geese and everything. So he put his name on one as a young goose sort of thing. And he used to feed all with all the stuff from the army base and that. Oh, of course, he brought this damn goose home one Christmas because he lived with your Nana for a while, and she said, he can go on over with you, Dorothy. And I said, well, I haven't room really. Oh, you have, that'll do you good. Of course, he paid me 25 shillings a week board. And he brought this goose home. Oh, you never saw it. I had 8 jars of goose fat out of it when it was cooked a little. Oh, God. Never saw such a fat thing in. I think we were eating goose. Everybody was eating goose. And he brought a whole, you know, the big washing baskets we used to have, not little ones, big ones, cram full of mushrooms. I give them put in the street mushrooms. Oh dear. And then, because I was having had David, and I said, well, no use, I haven't got room where I'm having David. And I got him lodgings with Mrs. Kinsey in Kingston Avenue there. No, in Burley Avenue, she owned. No, she wasn't in that one. She was in Kingston Avenue, Mrs. Kinsey. Oh, and she thought the world of him. I think she thought he was going to marry her. He never got married. And I think she thought he was going to marry her, but he didn't.
So what happened to Uncle Arthur then?
Well, he was taken ill and he had to go into hospital, he went to Hillcrest Hospital, and he'd always said whatever he got was mine, sort of thing, and he gave me, I used to draw it on my pension.
Oh, yeah.
Every week for him. And if he wanted anything, I used to buy it for him out of my pension. Then put the other in his post office bank book for him. And anyway, when your Nana used to go, well, of course your daddy and I used to go and see him. Of course, there was only visiting days then, you could only Wednesday and the weekend. We always went, never missed, and your Nana used to go as well. And the matron at the hospital said he ought to make a will, you see. Mind you, he was going then a bit. And he made his will. And left everything to your Nana. That was really manoeuvred, that was. So, of course, when he died, I got this tin with his watch in and quite a lot of money in this tin. And his post office bank book. That got quite a bit in as well. And my mother said, you got a tin with all his money in and his post office, and I threw it at her. I remember going to see when she lived across the road there. I said, take the damn tin. I said, you've moved it. It was for me, really. And then the British Legion, he worked at the British Legion there when he came out of the army. And they came and went to the door, and this man said, were you Dorothy Whitwell? So I said, yes. So he said, well, there's quite a bit of money that Mr. Britt has left. And he said, we understood that it was always for you, you see. So I said, oh, no, it's not. I said, take it across the road, it's for my mother. And she had that as well. Oh, and then it was, because just before he died, and my birthday came on, he always gave me 10 shillings for my birthday. And on my birthday, my mother said, oh, here's the 10 shillings Uncle Arthur always used to give you. I said, you know what to do with that, do you? So that's that. So she hadn't given me 10 shillings on. Yeah. No.
So how old were you when you met my dad then?
I'd be 19, 20.
Right.
I'd be 20, 19 I'd be when, I think I got a postcard upstairs somewhere on my 90th birthday. I went, We went courting, as they used to call it in those days, for 2 years before we got married. And I got married in the June and I was 22. That would be it, 22 in the, I don't know, I think I was 20. No, I'd be 22 in July as I got married, because my mother said, if I'd known you were going to get married so quick, she said, I wanted to give you your 21st birthday party. Yeah.
So, how did he come down here then?
Well, he did his apprenticeship, and there was only the job in Leicester going. There was him and Uncle Bill did the apprenticeships together. And there was this, when they come down here, the one, and they sent your daddy and your Uncle Bill, he went on the dole. There was no job for him. So a few minutes afterwards, and he went to Avery's, but there was only the one job for Pauline, and your daddy was chosen for it. And he came down here in the February, I think it was, yeah. And on the Friday, I think, and Billy Batterson, who was foreman at Leicester, was a friend of him, friends with your mother and dad, and grandma, your nana and grandpa. And he said he got this young man coming from Middlesbrough and be lonely. And would I go down, he'd arranged to meet him at the Imperial Hotel on the Friday night, that was it. And it was pouring with rain, and they came for me and to go with them, you see, to meet him. I went and we sat there and he never turned up. And so on, I believe the next Wednesday it was that Grace sat, when she came down and she said, get yourself ready, Dorothy, we're going to the Palais tonight. So I said, I'm not going to the Palais. I said, I'm not going out tonight. I don't know what I was doing. So she said, oh, we've got to go tonight. We're going to meet this Gus. Anyway, we got ready, and that's how I met your daddy at the Palais. And yeah, that was it.
So where was he staying then?
He got some lodgings in Lancaster Road in Leicester.
Oh, right.
Some digs down there. And Mr. and Mrs. Allen. And,
so how often did he go back up to Middlesbrough then?
well, he used to be able to go for a 5-shilling trip. He went on 2 of those. And then he wanted me to meet his mother. And so would I go up one Sunday on her? I'd never met her. And I went on this damn train trip to Middlesbrough. And she met me off the train, this woman. He described what she'd be like. And I went, she took me, of course, and made me ever so welcome, and she baked some lovely cakes and that. And then she put me back on the train for Leicester, and you had him off the train. And then when we decided to get married, I said, well, what are you going to get married on, you see? Because neither of us have got any money. So she said, you better come and live at our house. That was your daddy. And instead of paying 25 shillings board, you can come and live with us, because she didn't charge you any board. So he came to live up at Oadby then. And then, now wait a minute though. It wasn't until I lived at Oadby he came to live there. I mean, it couldn't have been long before we got married, because that was the idea of saving up a bit to get married. And they decided that they were going to sell this house. And your daddy said, well, shall we get married and shall we buy the house, you see? And I said, well, we can't afford to buy it. Anyway, we put it to you down on Grandpa, and they said, well, they wouldn't sell it to us, but we'd take over the mortgage. And that's how we came to live here. We took over the mortgage from them, and came to live here. And that was it. Down the, you know. All that time, of course, I was...
Did you have a honeymoon?
Yes, we went to Hull.
Oh, of course, yeah. So who did you know in Hull?
That was your Nana's, Uncle Arthur's stepbrother.
Oh, right.
Sid Parker. Well, and Gertrude, that was it.
Whereabouts in Hull were they?
They lived at, yes, off, I only said it the other day. What's the main street?
Albany Road, is
Something like that, and begins with A.
it? Yeah.
Well, they lived up there. Sycamore Street,
Ah.
yeah. And they had, because they hadn't got any children then, and they had one daughter, Muriel. Because didn't I think I asked you to try and get in touch with her because you were secretary at Hull Infirmary for a long time. And I think she was when you were there. I don't know what her married name was. Yeah. No, we went to Hull.
So what year was that?
1936.
Oh,
Got married in June, and John was born the following August at 37.
wow.
A year and 2 months after we were married.
And when did Grandma come down then?
Well, when we got married, your daddy used to send 25 shillings every week. He earned 58 shillings when he came out of his apprenticeship. He paid 25 shillings board, 25 shillings he sent his mother every Friday night. And what did he have? 3 shillings left, didn't he? And of course a little bit of overtime, he used to do overtime at the weekend. And he got paid for his overtime because he was working under Billy Besserson then. And whatever he got then. And when we got married, instead of him sending 25 shillings home to his mother, she came to live here with us. She was a tartar. She was really sinister.
Well, I suppose it was difficult for her, wasn't it, to come?
Well, I suppose it was really,
down,
but I still went to work at Morgan's, and Morgan's quite. Oh, she was a lovely cook. And she just looked as though she used to put the dinners up every night for Norma and I. And my plate just looked like a heap of scrapings. And his set out. Oh. And then when she knew what was happening, John, we went to the doctors and came out and Norman said that we weren't going to have a baby. So I knew she was pregnant. And he says, well, as you are, Mother, he said, we're going to try and find you some lodgings. Or not lodging, find you another house or something. And then the next one, I'm reading the paper, you see, at the table in there. There was such a scuffle. And I looked up quick and she got a poker to give me one on the head. And of course she'd had this nice to offer and he says, come on, get your coat on, Dorothy. Oh, yes, get your coat on. And we got a motorbike and sidecar then. And we went downtown. It was Saturday night, but everywhere was closed. Looking in the window for all the houses to let. He said, your mother can't live here. He said, not that she's going to be like that. And he never took her side against me, and he never took my side against her. He was always, oh no. And then it was funny because Hilda Broughton, I was walking up to Easton, and Hilda Broughton was coming down, and we stopped talking, and she said, well, I'm just going to Burley Avenue, Dorothy. She said, I'm going to look at a house there, we're going to move there. So I said, what are you doing with your other house up there? She said, we want to let it. So I said, you don't, do you? So she said, yeah. So I said, well, would you let it to my husband's mother? She said, of course we would. And that was it. And then I forget what his name. The builder said, would we like to buy it? It was 14 shillings a week rent and rates. Well, we couldn't afford it. And he said, if we'd like to buy it, instead of paying rent, take that on to the mortgage and that. But we couldn't afford to. We could have bought it, and anyway, she went to live there, and of course she lived there. Well, then when John was born, she'd been so awful and that, and I'd nearly lost him about half a dozen times, and the doctor wouldn't let her go up and see him at all, because my mother had told the doctor how she'd been with me, and because Dr. Plassett was, and he'd known me since I was a little girl. And he said, well, if you want to see the baby, we'll have the nurse bring him down, show you. And of course it was ages before I'd go near her. And then I know we wanted to do something or go somewhere, and your daddy said, well, look, let's bury the hatchet. He went every day to see his mother. Let's bury the hatchet. And he said, let my mother have the baby, for the afternoon. I said, oh, I don't know. Anyway, took John up there, and that was on the Oby Road there. And she had him that afternoon, and then after that, of course, she came down and she did have him, and she was, nobody could be nicer or more loving to you all than she was. But, of course, every time we went up to Middlesbrough, we always used to take all the food with us and that, and then your daddy, if we got a bit of spare cash, he'd leave her. So we always got it back because parcels come next week with something for the children.
So when did she go back then?
She went back in 39, the August of 39.
Just before war then?
No, yes, just before the war was declared. I think it was about the 19th of August. And this war was declared on the 3rd of September. And a friend of your dad's was a coal merchant at Coalville. And your daddy went with him on his coal lorry and took what furniture she'd brought with her here, took back up there to Bedford Street. She got a house a bit. 10 and 4 a week. Oh dear.
Was she homesick then?
Yeah, she was a bit. She wanted to go back to Middlesbrough, yeah, because she got a lot of friends up there and that. Oh, and then one afternoon, after she'd gone back, I was baking some pastry and that. I was actually doing some tarts and all that to pack up to send to Uncle Glen. And a knock on the front door, and I went to the door, and this woman stood there, and she said, well, Mrs. Geschke. I said, well, I'm Mrs. Geschke. Oh, she said, well, I must mean your mother-in-law. She said, she told me to come and see her any time I liked. And it'd be somebody she'd met. And this woman came. Oh, and she said, in fact, she said, I'm not getting on very well with my sister. So she said, your mother-in-law said I could come and live here. I said, oh, no, you can't. I said, it's impossible. She said, well, she told me I could. And she was most upset this way. I don't know who she was. She did tell me her name, but I couldn't tell you what it is. I said, you can stay and have your tea. I said, but you certainly can't come and live here. And I never saw her again.
Strange, isn't it?
Yeah. So that was that. Oh dear. You want any more? Because I can't talk anymore.
No. That's what she done.
Right, every time my Uncle Bill and Doris came, your daddy always used to get a couple of pigeons because Uncle Bill liked them.
Where from?
Atherstone, he always used to bring them. He used to make them at Atherstone and pick up a couple of pigeons for me to cook for Uncle Bill because he liked them. That's all I can remember at the moment. What else do you want to know?
I don't.
Oh.
Just talk.
Talk. Oh.
So, well, when?
Well, they used to bring Aunt Doris's mother to Atherstone, and then,
Why Atherstone?
well, wait a minute, and then Doris's sister would pick her up at Atherstone and take her to where she lived. Her and her husband used to take the mother to where they lived down south somewhere. And that was halfway sort of thing. Doris and Bill brought us to there, and they picked her up there and took her to where they lived. I forget her name.
So when did Uncle Bill and Auntie Doris get married then? Did they?
Well, they
Same
got
time
married.
as you?
I don't know, it was a year after us, or
It must be a paper.
a year after us, or the year before. I'm not sure. A year after, I think.
Oh.
They got married at Redcar at the Catholic Church.
Did you go?
No, I didn't go. No, I only got to know them really. Well, Doris after they got married. And we went up to Middlesbrough and then went to Redcar to see them.
Oh.
And that was when they lived in Tees Road in Middlesbrough. And Doris was expecting Margaret at the time. And I always remember walking in and Uncle Bill doing the ironing.
Right.
And that was how I got to know Aunt Doris. That was the first time I'd ever met her then. I hadn't met her before.
So, what about Mr. and Mrs. Darcy? They
Oh, they lived at Liverpool,
Yeah,
but
that's-
Doris and Uncle Bill.
they had no contact before they met at
Oh,
Liverpool.
no. Then Uncle Bill got the job at Liverpool. I don't know, it was Avery's at Paulie's. And he went there to work, and they bought the house at Pagebrook Lane, which was 2 doors away from Lorna and George. And so that's how they became friends, sort of thing. And
Did they just have Lorraine?
yes, that's all, just the one child. Yeah. She became a big, well, she has a very good job in the police force, in the Finishman Rangers. Not as a policewoman or anything, but in the offices and that. I think she married on 2 children, I think. I know she.
You know, you were telling me once about when you went to Lincolnshire when you were convalescing, or Uncle Ken had something wrong with it.
No, I'd had whooping cough, very bad. And so Uncle Ken wouldn't get it. I went to your Nana's auntie's on the farm at Saxelby. And my dad fetched me from there in, Oh. I forget his Christian name. But Mr. Peake, they'd taken a house in Ilfracombe with Nana and Grandpa. And Grandpa fetched me that night in, I forget his Christian name. In his car, not Grandpa's car, and we drove all the way from Southby down to Ilfracombe through the night. I was better then. Well, I wasn't infectious.
So was that when you saw the plane coming down then? In the field, you said?
Oh no, that was your mother, Nana's cousin's husband came down. He was in the Air Force sort of thing, and he landed in the field in his plane. That at the same time, yes, while we were on the phone.
So how old were you?
I'd be happy about 7 or 9, something like that.
No, he used to be 9 if Uncle Ken was born.
Yes, he was. I was 7 years older than him, so.
Right.
Yeah.
That must have been quite a thing to see.
Well, it was really. Yeah, I can. Now you've brought that back to me. I can see him standing at the side of his plane, and I don't know whether he got killed or not. Well, it's the last I can remember of him. The one thing I can't.
What was his name?
No idea. No.
Well, you seemed to go to a lot of aunties and things, didn't you?
Well, they weren't really my aunties. They were all my mother's cousins. But I called them. There was Auntie Dorothy, Auntie Nell, and Auntie Laura. But they were her 3 cousins. Auntie Laura lived at Rosendale in Burnley. I went to stay with them for 3 weeks. Auntie Dorothy lived at Prestwick, Manchester, and I went to stop with them. And Auntie Nell, I didn't stop with her, but she used to have a shop, a dress shop in Hean, I think it is, near Manchester. And Auntie Doll and her had this shop between them. They sold their house and went into this shop, but I never stayed at the shop. But Auntie Nell had the shop before Auntie Dorothy, before they sold the house. And I stayed at the house, but she put me on the train to come home. Oh, I can remember that. And instead of it coming straight to Leicester, I don't know where it went, all over England, I was young. And I arrived in Leicester at 12:30 in the morning. And because nobody knew where I was or anything. And the police, they put me in the hands of the police at the station. And they got in touch with my mother and Dad. Of course, they dashed down to pick me up from the station. And then my Auntie Della put me on this train. Oh,
how old were you then?
I don't know, maybe about, I was living here, so I'd be about 12 or 13. Oh, when I arrived that was terrible, I remember. Well, my mother didn't ring her, well, I don't know if she rang her up or something. She wouldn't ring her up because we weren't on the phone. But she did have to give her a telling off. I think she thought the train would get into Leicester about 10. You see, and I think my mother and Dad had been to meet in that train because I wasn't on it. And one that came in about 10, and I thought she hadn't put me on it. Oh dear. Proper commotion with that.
Well, who was the person that lived at, was it Kibberton Park?
That was Aunt Polly, that was my mother's auntie again.
Have I said it right? Is that what it was
Auntie
called?
Polly?
No, where you went.
Yes, Kibberton Park.
So was there a colliery there?
Oh yes, it was the deepest colliery in England at the time.
Right.
And every Monday, all the miners had a day off on a Monday. They'd worked, sort of thing. Well, they'd work till the weekend, and they wouldn't go to work on the Monday. And they all had the day off on the Monday, and there was Nora. Oh, stop. Yeah, I think that was her name. I used to play with, well, not play with her, go out, because I'd be 17 or 18. And that was when I stood next to the Prince of Wales on the station, meeting Nora off the train. And there was the Prince of Wales. When he got on the train, the porter on the platform, do you know who you've been standing next to? He says, for the last 20 minutes. I said, no, I saw the gentleman standing there. He said, well, it was the Prince of Wales. I said, well, I know.
What was he doing there?
He'd been to Melton and then catching the train back from Leicester. And the train, he was on the Sheffield train. On the Sheffield train that came in with a special carriage on it, with all the windows shut down and that.
He'd been to where?
To Melton, Mowbray.
Oh, right.
And he was catching the train in Leicester back to London.
Uh-huh. Huh.
Yeah. Good old, not an old dog, good old, not a little dog. Miriam, her sister, I bought a dance dress off her. It was all lovely white lace, fitted tight. And I said I'd £10 a crown a week for this dress. I think 25 shillings that year. It was a lovely dress.
So how come Nana's family were all over the country then?
Well, they're all more or less in Lincolnshire because Auntie, those that lived at Saxonby, they had this big farm there, lovely farm. And there was Uncle Eddie, that was, I never really knew him. He was my mother's cousin and he lived in Lincoln. And because my mother kept in touch with all of them and that, because Uncle Arthur, his mother, she was the black sheep of the family.
So who brought Uncle Arthur up then?
Nana, my Nana and Grandpa.
Right. Did he know that his...
Oh, I think so, yes. Oh, he knew that, what the hell was her name? Oh, he knew she was his mother.
Oh.
And she married Mr. Parker in Hull. And she lived in Hull. And she had Billy. And he had the measles when he was little, about 2 or 3. And he had congestion of the throat or something that he'd get with measles, and they cut the wrong cord. And it cut his cord and he was deaf and dumb.
Oh.
And I never knew him, not until one Sunday. There was a knock on the back door here, and I went to the door and he was doing all this to me and muttering, you know how they mutter and that. And I went back in the back room and I said, there's a funny man at the back door, to my mother, and she said, she got up and she said, oh, come in, old Billy. And it was Billy had come on a cheap trip from Hull to see my mother and Dad.
Oh.
And when I got married and we went to Hull for our honeymoon, he took us dancing at the club at night, and he was the most lovely dancer. And I said to Gertie and Stan, how can he dance so well as he does? And he took the time of the band from the floor with his feet.
Oh.
And he was a beautiful dancer. And he married a deaf and dumb girl, and they had 2 children. And Auntie, what the hell, I'm thinking was her name. She lived next door, and she could hear them crying They couldn't, but she used to hear them crying, and she used to go in and look after them for them. And they both did marvellous, evidently, went to university and got wonderful jobs and that. And I don't know what happened to them.
And well, how old were you when you had diphtheria then?
I was 20.
Oh, that's quite old.
Oh, yes, because they used to be then sending me flowers from London.
Yeah.
Sending me flowers and get well cards from London. Your daddy coming to see me at the weekends through the window. Oh, dear me.
So who was Vince anyway?
Well, I was going out with Vin at the same time as going out with your daddy. I was a proper little man.
Where was he from then?
Well, he lived in Leicester, but he got a job and transferred to London, leather trade. And he was transferred to London. But he used to come home every weekend. And I used to meet him in the afternoon. And there was Bertha and Bernard. Well, Vin's friend Bernard. And we used to go on the golf course. You know. Scrap office is up there, that way up there. Every afternoon. And I'd go back to Vin's for tea. They lived on Norfolk Road, Leicester. Well, they lived in Sparkle Street first. And then they lived in Norfolk Street. And I used to go home with him for tea. See him off on the 7:45 train with his mother and dad, come out of the station. Bertha was with me, you see, because Bernard and Bertha we all went to see him off. And she used to make out that she was with your daddy. So his parents wouldn't see me with him. Meet your daddy then. He never fell in for quite a while. And then how it came to a head, it was on New Year's Eve. And they both met me out to work, the pair of them.
Where's you right?
I know it's only right. Anyway, I went to the pictures with Vin. And Vin kept, I suppose you're thinking of someone with, because your daddy always had a nice white scarf under his coat. And he said, I suppose you're sitting here thinking of the man with the white scarf. And I don't know, they got quite friendly. Anyway, I know that one time, and your daddy said to Vin, well, that's all right, you coming to see Dorothy. He said, I'll marry her now. And that was it, sort of thing. And he came to see us after we were married, and he brought his girlfriend with him. Then he got another girlfriend. In fact, I've got a photograph somewhere. And he brought her to see us, and he came to see me quite a bit. He went to, he came during the war, because he went to either Oldham, one of those places up there to work, and he was driving a petrol lorry during the war. That was his job sort of thing. And I was bathing hard John. I can remember him coming that day when I got John bathing him. And then his daddy came home when at the dinner time. He says, I'll be bringing a friend home for tea. Because he's always bringing somebody home for a meal. I said, okay, and who should it be? But he says, I met him in the town, and he says, and I said, you better come home for your tea with me tonight. And it was Vinny brought home for his tea. And, dear. But what now? I often wonder what happened to him. His sister Mary was the first manageress to be main manageress of Lloyd's Bank in London, one of the Lloyd's Banks in London. And Sheila, I used to take Susan to see Sheila. She lived over here, we used to go through the park, And somewhere rode off there Sheila did. And she went to New Zealand to live, her and Lenny, the chap he married. But she had a bit of a history of life during the war. Somebody said she became a prostitute on Saxby Street up there somewhere. This Sheila.
Oh.
Whether she did or not, I don't know, but that was the story went about.
Oh my goodness.
How she came back in my life again, because I was with her all together. And I came home from night school one night, and I came in, and he said, "You've got a friend here to see you." And when I walked in, it was her. And she found out, I still lived here or something, and came to see us.
Oh.
So. And then after that, I used to go down one afternoon every week to see her.
Mm-hmm.
I know it wouldn't be you, it'd be Susan. I'm sure I pushed in the problem. But then she went to New Zealand.
Oh, a new start for her. A new start for her.
Well, she had a new start here before she went to New Zealand because she got a nice detached house. Oh, I could take you to the road, but I forget the name of it now. And they told her, you took them up for the tea, her and Lenny, and up for the tea. And that was it.
So what was it like when the war broke out?
Well, when the war broke out, it was,
You remember what you were doing?
I was looking after John, actually, the baby. Well, he'd more or less come out of his big pram because the evacuees that came, and Nurse Smith across the road, she had to evacuate with a toddler and a baby. And so I said she could borrow my pram, you see, so. But they were only here about a week and they went back to London because they didn't feel safe here, no guns going off. I felt safer in London with all the guns and the explosions and they did in Leicester. Because we had a raid while they were here, and of course that and frightened because we didn't do anything much. And they went back, because they borrowed my pram, John's pram. Your nonna bought his pram for him, which I never liked.
Why?
Well, it was a lowish one. I wanted a high pram. The high prams were all the rage just when John had just come into fashion. And it was a lovely pram, Elizabeth beige it was. But it was a low one. And no, when this plant was delivered, I thought, oh my goodness. Because, you know, it says, well, that'll keep him warm. These big high ones, there's nothing in them at all. Shouldn't that, you know, of course it wasn't. And that, oh dear. I don't know, well, I think I must have given it away or sold it or something. And then when Susan, because I hadn't got a pram when Susan was coming, and we bought a second-hand one. Well, then Nell Crane lived in Kingston Avenue. She was expecting the baby. I said, oh, you can have my pram now, because I don't use it now, you see. Because Joe Roberts had given me a Townsend low one, just, you know, easy to push about. And definitely about a fortnight after I'd given it, I found it was new. I said to Nell, I said, I'll have my pram back if you don't mind now. I said, oh, she'll be lucky you've gone on that back, she'll be using it. And she wouldn't give me it back. That man. Anyway, we got another one for you. Your daddy went and the second-hand one for you. Scrubbed it well in maroon and that was. That's the one you used to tip up outside. Oh, times I came out and the pram was up on its end with you bouncing about.
I must have been fed up on the doorstep all day.
Well, perhaps so, but in the video I put with those big weights that there's in the kitchen, tied it on the back of the pram to keep it down. Well, you were happy enough there, you know, not crying or anything, you were quite happy in your pram, just tipping it up, bouncing about, you know, and keep still. Oh, yeah.
So how did it alter your life then, the war?
Well, I don't say it really. Well, it altered our life that your daddy was on call all the time, well, him and that, telegrams coming through. Of course, that got me upset because I thought there'd be, you know, young Ken had been abroad and expecting a telegram and that. And he asked them if they'd stop telegrams, which they did, and got in touch with the office and they'd send someone up. Because your daddy wouldn't have a phone. They wanted to put a phone in. He said, no way. He said, they'll be bringing him up all night long, he said. Because he had to go right Northampton, Wellingborough and Nottingham, all the different places to the college, and he was on call all the time to them. And but he got heavy workers. Cheese, we got a great lump of cheese every week. And,
like extra rations?
Oh yes, that's as well as our rations. We got our 2 ounces, like John and me and your daddy, 2 ounces, that's 6 ounces. Then we got this big lump as well. I used to give Bert Sutton and buy Sutton a piece of it. I used to give them the rations, I think, the 6 ounces. I used to give them that, and we used to be this lump of cheese. Oh dear. And, as I say, that's how war went on. Of course, the bombs used to drop around.
Were you short of food, or?
Well, I never was, Elizabeth, because your grandma was the manager of Bland, and of course their lorries used to transport a lot of stuff. I'm afraid a lot of stuff fell off the lorries.
Well, did you grow anything in the garden?
Oh yes, we grew everything, cabbages, every mortal thing in the garden. Yeah. Oh,
How
yeah.
did my dad he grew chrysanthemums, didn't he?
Oh yes, because he when Danny died, Isa and Denny, when he died, we bought the greenhouse off Isa, and that was when he had his roots, tomatoes and that. We used to sell those, 2 shillings a bag. Used to fill the bag, and for 2 shillings, everybody used to give him for these bag of tomatoes. And his chrysanthemums he used to sell so much bloom because of, beautiful chrysanthemums. And we used to have those. But old Sunday, he used to sell us all the stuff and that. Because he made a business of it on Sunday. That
Black market business?
No, not black market. No, this was perhaps after the war. Yes, because I think it was... I don't know whether you were born... Oh, you were born, you and Susan. Because he used to come every Saturday for his dinner.
Oh, I can't remember that.
No, you weren't. He was only little. And he used to come every Saturday for his dinner. And one Saturday, Elizabeth, George was mentally handicapped sort of thing, George was. He used to call me Harvey.
Who are these people though?
Well, Harold Sands worked for Ava's, boys with your daddy.
Right.
And when Eva died, then again, you see, you come to our house every Saturday for your dinner. And so he and George used to come up every Saturday for the dinner. And this Saturday morning, he gave George, I don't know whether he did give him soon, I forget now. Well, whatever it was, he gave them some money to go and get an ice cream from the shops. 2 ice creams, one for him and one for George. And there was you 2 little girls. I was so furious that when your daddy came home, because your daddy would be working at the weekends. And when he came home, I said, don't you dare ask the button for the dinner next Saturday. He says, why? What's going on? I told him, he said, oh no, he said, not again. So we never asked them the next Saturday, they didn't go after that. And then...
Did he realise why?
Oh, I think your daddy told him straight. And he said, no, you don't do that. And I used to go down on Elizabeth and clean for him every Friday. I used to clean and damn his house on Scrapcraft Lane.
Oh.
And he used to give me £0.50. My bus fares from here, they weren't a lot, but by the time I paid my bus fares and the ones up to his house, I got about a shilling left. And I said to him, if you're going to pay me bus fares, George, I'm not going to have Harold, I'm not coming anymore. Anyway, he gave me bus fares after that. And he wanted me to either let this house or sell it or something and go and live with him. Not just me, your dad as well. And I said, no way. I said, not likely to your daddy. He said, well, if we let this house, he said, the rent of this and that. And I said, no, not likely. I wouldn't go and live with him, not then. No end of money. And then, of course, George died. And I went to see him, and whether he knew he was going to die or not, he said, you know, Harvey, if I die, I'm going to be buried on top of Eva. I said, oh, well, we'll see about that, George. And anyway, he died. And we went to his funeral, and I said to your daddy, I'd gathered the big bunch of sweet peas to put on his coffin. And when we got up there, this hearse came home. And this coffin with nothing but cardboard and a bit of wood around it, sort of thing. And I went to the undertaker's and I said, excuse me, but is this Mr. George Sands' funeral? He said, yes, my dear. He said, I know what you're going to say. He says, you needn't bother. He says, we thought the same. I said, well, how disgusting. I said, well, will you put these flowers on top for me, please? So he said, yes. About 3 weeks afterwards, there again Harold started coming up, you see. Oh, more than 3 weeks. A little while afterwards, he said, do you know, Dorothy? He said, oh, George, you're haunting me. I said, of course he's haunted you. I said, no wonder he's haunting you. I said, what you did to him. And he didn't have him buried. He wouldn't have the grave open for Eva because it was too expensive. could have cost £5 to open the grave or something. And he wouldn't have it opened. And he had another plot just near him or something, because the other grave was his mother and father. There was 4 or 5 of them. There was his mother and father, Eva, Harold and George there. And he wouldn't have it open for George. Anyway, he reckoned it was haunting him. I said, yes, it's ever likely to haunt you. And about 3 weeks afterwards, he died. I would say that George haunted him, took him.
Was he well off then?
Oh, he was quite well off, yes, because his mother and father owned a fishing ship business in Leicester. Retired from that and bought this detached house in Scraptoff Lane. George and Harold and Eva lived with them till they died. And therefore the house came to him because he was the only one. And then when Eva died, he had a housekeeper in. And it was quite a while after Eva died. And this housekeeper, he had this housekeeper there. And when he died, I never knew why he'd left the house to the housekeeper. But your daddy was the executor of the will. He went down to the solicitor to sign all the bits and bobs. And he said to the solicitor, has he left me a damn pen to sign the papers with? And the solicitor said, no, but it's Alan, do you want? And this, I'll forget her name now. She said, well, how he hadn't left you anything in his will, but she said, you can have the, out of the garden, you can have the coal frame. And she gave your daddy the coal frame out of the garden. And I don't know what happened now. Oh, his cousin was the benefit of the house when she left, she died or something, or left or something. And he had the house, and he got in touch with me for some reason, because your daddy had died then. And he got in touch with me for something or other about Harold and that, and I said, no, I don't know anything about it. And I don't know what it was now. But I always remember him, because he used to sell all his stuff in his garden. He didn't give a thing away, and he used to have a very big garden. And he said to your daddy, if Dorothy would like to come down with no end of gooseberries ready in the garden, she'd like to come and get them, you see. So down I went, you see, I picked all these gooseberries, it was a big bag full, you see. And he said, I'll weigh them now. He says, I think they were 10p a pound on the market. And I said, you know what you can do with those, don't you? So he said, well, how many pounds do you want? I said, none. I threw all the whole basket full over his shed floor. I said, come on, let's go home to your daddy. I said, do you ever know anything got me to pick all the bloody gooseberries? Don't you swear like that, please. I said, enough to make a saint swear he is. And I threw more on his shed floor.
Why did you keep in touch with him?
Well, he used to work with your daddy. It wasn't... Because your daddy used to take him home after the been to work. He used to take him home in the van. And he always used to give... George... He used to call your daddy Churchill. And he always gave him 6p on a Friday night. Every Friday night your daddy took Sandy home. We called him Sandy then. Took him home and he always gave George 6p. And he used to tell me, do you know Churchill always gives me 6p, Dorothy. Always gives me 6p. Oh dear. And that was, and then of course he died, and that was the rest of it. But
I switched it off.